Today I'm going to give it a try and see about making myself a better heat shield. I guess not really a heat shield as much as a heat fins, like basically a cooling fin you'd put like on a computer, hard drive, or on anything. But I'm actually going to mount it around my chimney to try and draw out some of the heat that's just going out my chimney. So I'm hoping to get some free heat out of this deal. This is just some leftover aluminum flashing like you use around your roof and that. What I already have one, which I got video to show you that, and it basically was my first attempt. Turned out fairly poorly. I'm not real impressed with it. It is working. I'm probably going to leave it up for, I don't know, for at least the short term. I might eventually go back and try and build it. I'm going to try and do this one, hopefully a little bit better from what I learned from there. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started here doing some bending. Hello everybody. Thought I'd go ahead and show you my first, I should say very feeble attempt at a heat displacement for my chimney on my wood stove. I guess my first one was up here. It's just a single piece bent over in half, tucked into a hose clamp, and that one's working. It's just, I thought it's going to be a whole lot of work to get all the way around there and get them all lined up and that. So I came up with a little bit better idea, I thought. And that was down here, which is basically, it's a very long piece, about 7-8 foot long, probably closer to 8 foot. It basically goes in here, bends back out into a triangle, comes back around, so on and so forth. I kind of screwed up over here. I didn't leave enough flat area in the middle and that, but it's what it is. And then I went ahead and cut these giant slots in the middle. I was planning on running a hose clamp or two to hold it in place real tight. I didn't have any left. I thought I had some here that were big enough, and ended up using a cut up metal coat hanger without any coating on it. You don't want a plastic coating on it because it will definitely start stinking and melting and smoking, and you don't need that. So anyway, that was my first, well, I guess technically there's my first and then my second attempt. The chimney right now is, I mean, it's extremely hot. I didn't get my gun out. I probably need to do that. But that right there is going to be damn near as hot as that. But as you work your way out, I mean, this baby is hot enough that you really just don't hardly want to touch. And by the time you get here on in, it's definitely, you don't want to touch it. So it's obviously doing its job. I was just hoping I could do something a little bit more attractive and hopefully a lot more efficient. So as you notice, that one over there is just shaking. That's to have a little fan up there blowing down across it. And I figure that's just some extra free heat that's coming off of this baby. So the fan's always blowing to kind of help spread the heat out around the garage, and anytime I can steal heat that's just going to escape out my chimney, I'm all for it. So I decided to make that my daily little project here, and I'm going to try and build a second one with much smaller, I guess, flutes or wings, whatever you want to call it on there, and I'll check back in and let you know how it goes. Thanks for watching. Okay, everybody, I'm back here again with the, I guess the finished result of, well, almost finished, of my new heat little flute here. As you can see, I didn't really measure anything out. I'm going to wait till I actually get it on the chimney to basically puff those out a little bit. Once it's mounted and secure, I'm going to go ahead and kind of push in on the outside edge and make those kind of flare out to get a little better heat transfer through it. As you can see here, there's a weird bend, and that one's definitely too short. I did not measure this out at all. I just kind of started winging it. realize now I really wish I would have measured out. I actually lucked out very immensely. This is just a smidgen small for the pipe, which I'm overlapped here quite a bit, and as you see when I let go, it's going to pop back in. So basically it's going to be a nice secure fit on it. That's just the way, actually the aluminum was rolled the opposite direction, but because the amount of bends I put in it, it wants to curl back up backwards. So I'm going to go ahead also and pinch these together and drill some holes through it to make it easier to mount that coat hanger, as opposed to actually cutting giant slits throughout the whole thing. So anyway, I'll go ahead and get that done and check in with you once I get it finished up. Hello, I'm back with the follow-up on my second heat shield that I built for my chimney, or I guess heat displacement. Not really a heat shield, but I guess it'd work for that too if you walk up and were actually to touch that momentarily. It's not going to burn you nearly as bad as the chimney would, so I guess it does work in that way, a little bit of safety also. I went through and, like I said, I was going to just drill some little holes and ran the coat hanger through there. And this one actually keeps the coat hanger off the pipe a little bit further, which is nice. It's not going to wear through as quickly in that. But once I had it on there, I just took my hand in there with the gloves on, obviously, and bent it out. And it was having a little trouble on some of them. As you can see, like that one there had a bit of a crease in it. So I actually took the giant tin snips that I had, stuck it down in the hole, and rotated it to spread them out. I figured that little bit of extra gap there is going to allow more air to radiate up through it. It's going to help displace the heat a little bit. The actual chimney itself, right there, with my thermal thermometer, is reading out about 201 degrees. The aluminum's reading out about 198 right there where it's up against the chimney. And then it basically works its way all the way out here to about 100 degrees on the edge. So it starts off like 180, 170, 60, you know, blah, blah, down to the cooler temperature, which proves it's obviously dissipating the heat. I don't really have any way of going out and checking the outside because the day's warming up out there, so it's going to be hard to tell if the outside chimney itself is cooler or warmer than it would have been, so I'm not really messing with that too much. But I'm just going by the fact that clearly it must be working for me. I also think it's going to do better than the original, because like I showed you on those two, they ended up right there together. There's really nowhere for the heat to get into that aluminum to then radiate out except from both sides. So I kind of have a wasted V there on the half of that tunnel. So I put more flat spots here and then more smaller fins, because this one down here, although it's also about 200, 201 degrees, works way out, gets out here at the end, it's I think about 75 degrees. So it's cool enough a guy can touch, where these little ones here, you touch those and boy, you really know it. I mean, it's got quite a bit of heat left on it. It's not going to burn you, but at 100 plus degrees on the edge, it's definitely no wasted aluminum, I guess, in the concept. I might go ahead and actually take this one off in a few days, or who knows, I may or may not do it. But I thought about taking this off and trying to reflatten it back out and bend back in some new curves. The other thing I would highly recommend, if you do this yourself, to go ahead and actually take a scratch awl or something and draw your lines across this and measure it out a little better, because clearly, as you saw on mine earlier, I didn't measure it out, just kind of winged it, and they're not uniform, they're not nearly as pretty as they could be. Also, if a guy was to draw lines across, I kind of got a little cattywampus. As you can see here, they're not even close to level. By doing that, it kind of wanted to skew off course. If I had the lines, I could have lined up my board. I was laying there for my fake brake, and it would have made it a little bit easier to keep it straight all the way through. The other option is the fact a guy really, if he has access to a metal brake, it would make your life, I mean, way super easy. So I didn't have that, and I wasn't willing to go out and buy one just for this little project. I've been tinkering with the idea of buying one of those little cheap ones at Harbor Freight, but haven't yet made my mind up. So right now I need to get the garage, I guess, organized and better usable before I waste any more money on tools that I don't have room to set up and use. So hope this was a little bit helpful to you guys. So feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe. And again, thanks for watching. Have yourself a safe and wonderful day.